Hey, we live? I hope I'm live on the right channel. Still not entirely sure if I actually set this up right. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me? I mean, you probably can't see me because I'm off to the side here, drinking a Coke. Hi. How are you guys doing? We live? Let me make sure there's no one over in the wrong channel. We're live? How does my audio sound? I realized, like, as I was setting up today, that if I set the mic in a place where you guys can hear me normally, it's gonna have, well, okay. So the mic is, like, right here, like, just out of frame right there. Hey, people are here. So if I don't have it slightly out of the way, I'm gonna be running into it every time I move my, my arm. So, I wrote down some notes, because I'm ADD. Audio is peaking a bit. Okay, I'm going to bring that down just a bit. Is it still peaking if I'm looking this way? Rather than, like, at it? A bit on the loud side? I cranked it up so that way you guys could hear me, but I'm not entirely sure where that level is. Is that better there? No peaking right now? Okay. Cool. Alright, so, a couple things that I want to go over before we get started. I know that there are some people who didn't, doesn't if you turn away. Okay, so I'm going to turn away and just not look at chat, I guess. This is weird. I'm doing great. So, if you're not aware, we're doing art today. I hit 1,000 subs the other day on this channel, and to celebrate, we're going to do some art. And I know some people are not going to have access to painting supplies. Either they couldn't get it in time, they just found out about it today, they didn't have the money, they have some physical disability that causes them to not be able to do it, what have you. We're just gonna make this nice and simple. If you load up MS Paint, I guess I should start by saying, if you haven't already, go ahead and get your paint palette out, get your water set up if you're painting with actual paint. Warm water should be good. And yeah, Coral will work. Any real art program will work. And if you want to make sure you're getting the right colors, you can literally just go down in the description of this video itself to go and get whatever colors that we're doing. Don't drink out of your paint cup. That's a good idea. We are using cheapo Liquitex paint today, and it is cobalt blue hue, not actual cobalt or heavy metals, so we won't die. But still, it's not a good idea to drink plastic. It's not quite as bad as drinking heavy metals, but it's still like, I think the FDA would say don't do it. But anyway, what else? Oh, shout out to Kevin MacLeod, who is the artist we'll be listening to today. He is best known for doing music for people who... am I excited for the stream? I'll get to that bullet point here in a second. That's bullet point 3. It's literally written on here. I am nervous. I felt like I should... any problem if I'm drawing in black and white? Probably. Kevin MacLeod, MacLeod. He's the guy who does the music for this and a lot of channels. So if you like it, you can go and get it there. It's in the. It's weird not looking at my computer screen while I'm streaming. And then what else do we have? Bullet point 3. I am nervous. Painting when I'm by myself is fine. You know, I can listen to whatever jams I want to, no worries of copyright claims and stuff like that. If I screw up part of it, you know, it's sped up so you guys can't see it. I feel like I'm not going to do as well as I normally do, so I figure I should go ahead and point that out. Also, I've only taught painting like once in my life, and it was a one-on-one sort of thing. So you guys are going to have to like keep me on my game, let me know whether or not I'm explaining everything. If I don't explain something well, just let me know, and I will try and do my best to let you guys know what's going on. But yeah, If you're using MS Paint, use if you go down in the description, you should be able to see all the different paints that we're using. Literally just screenshot them, and then like use the eyedropper tool to get those colors off the different images for the thing. So for the Liquitex Basic blue, just like on the website, on the Amazon referral link, you can just like eyedropper and click this, and then you have that blue. If you need to mix, we'll be mixing colors, obviously, and you can like do maybe a gradient from the two colors we're mixing, and then pick, you know, if I say 25% blue, 50% yellow, I don't know what that mixture is, but anyway, you can go ahead and just click on that and it'll work. So that would be how you'd get the mixtures if you're using paint. What else? We're mainly going to be focusing on color mixing today, making sure that we're getting the right colors. We are using I forgot what this is. It's 16 by 20, I think is what I said. So this thing's pretty big. In comparison to my usual paintings that I do 11 by 14, I think is the standard. So the Hermes painting that I did is this size. It's pretty big. And that's point 2 of the thing that I want to actually point out that we need to get good at during this. A lot of artists, when they're doing it, it's dry, so don't worry about it. They'll do this little thing for all of it. They won't. You need to get used to doing this big movements. You got like your wrist, you got your fingers, you got your elbow. I can't really move my elbow much because this is in the way. And then you got your shoulder, and you can do all of these to make movements. And I feel like a lot of people get too contained. They do a lot of this, and that's not good for you. We're doing a bigger canvas because I figure it'll be easier for younger or newer artists. I know it seems backwards, but it's easier if you make a mistake if it's a bigger painting. What's the topic of the painting? We are going to be doing an arcade video style painting, but I'm not going to tell you what game it is, basically just so you guys will relax and just do it. Not a lot of really hard edges in this, so it should be pretty easy. We're going to be focusing on the brushwork, we're going to be doing a lot of wet on wet art, and we're going to be doing a lot of color mixing. Those are the 3 things that I want to do. Anyway, that should have given you guys enough time to go ahead and set up, get ready for what we're about to do. If you have a smaller canvas, that's fine. So when I'm explaining how we're going to mix things, oh, that's another thing. Depending on the resolution and color settings of your monitor, even if it's factory defaults, they may not be the right colors. So this blue may look different. If you were literally holding this Liquitex Basic blue in your hand, it will look different to you because the camera's resolution and color settings and your monitor color settings and such. So I'm going to give you percentages. So try and go off that rather than trying to match the color that I'm using, if that makes sense. We're going to start once I get the music going. The songs we're listening to, again, are from Kevin MacLeod. Concentration, Dewdrop Fantasy, Garden Music, Relaxing Piano Music, and Wisps of Whorls, which is the one that I've been using on every single Artcade up to this point. Alright, I've stalled long enough, we ought to actually just start. So this is, whoop, should have started on the right one. There we go. Concentration. That's a little creepier than I remember it being. Anyway. Basics are acrylics. Lo-fi anime radio to listen to while you study and relax. So we're going to just do straight up, we're going to just use the blue right out of the bat. And also, I should mention that you guys are seated right on top of my DSLR. So I'm going to turn that on real quick. And I'm going to be turning that on and off. And whenever I do that, it's going to jiggle the thing. Okay. Alright, there we go. Now I got it set up. Okay, cool. So, just the cobalt blue, we're going to take a kind of whatever, one of your brushes. We're just going to do a line, I'm going to say like right about here. Kind of got to work around my mic there, which is a little bit annoying. And don't worry about having this line too straight. This is just going to get painted over anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so this line, and I would say it's like just below the halfway point. I should probably put a cap on this, you're right. Can you hear me when I'm painting, by the way? I'm a little concerned about that. But yeah. Super sketchy line just to get us started off with, but we need to know where the horizon line is. So, for everything that we do, we're going to be doing half of it above the horizon line, half of it below the horizon line, and the reasoning is we're going to have to switch off back and forth. Because in order to do wet-on-wet painting, which I'll explain more once we get to it, you kind of have to know, I think this is one of the hardest things for new painters to get used to, especially with acrylic, is when paint is wet, you shouldn't be painting on top of it. I guess it's more of an oil problem, because oil stays wet forever. So, we're going to start with that. We're going to put a little bit more just cobalt blue up in the corner here. And try and paint over the edges a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of painting like on the edge itself. I did it on the golden skull one. I forget what I named that in the end. I'm not good at naming paintings. I don't think it matters, honestly. I guess it does matter. People expect the name to mean something, and it never does for me, to be honest. Okay, so we got that corner. We got this going on. Light's going to be coming down from, I'm going to say like over here-ish. So, nah, you didn't miss it. And I'm watching the Twitch chat just in case if anyone drops by and accidentally goes to the wrong place. So, should probably get the thing out of the way. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I thought of a way I could name my paintings here recently, and I think I'm going to start doing that. Hey, Lichbit, how you doing? And I have, like, the OBS window right there. Okay, so, we got this line right here. That's our, horizon line. Okay. Nice and easy. Okay. We're going to mix up another color. So we're going to take, let me figure out the percentage real quick. I'm going to say it's like, maybe like a 40-60 mix with 40% being the yellow and then the 60% being the blue. I think that's about right. And that should get you, relatively, I don't know if you guys can see that, blue, or green. It's like a dark foresty kind of green. And then, we're going to be using that green a lot. Are we going to be posting on the Boro or Twitter afterwards? Let's go with Twitter. I think that's, we're not gonna be painting that, no, Peach. Alright. We're gonna need a little bit of that green. Mixing colors is not too bad. It's really not. You just have to get used to it. So now that we've got our 40-60 mix that gives us that green, we're gonna take that and we're going to put it in a mix of, geez, maybe like 10% of that green, and then like, maybe closer, that's really loud on my end. Let me figure out the color specifically. Got the blue. I'm gonna take a little bit of white as well. I'm dropping everything. There we go. I think it's probably like a, I guess with the white and the blue, we want like a 60-40, white being the prominent. And I got paint all over myself. I'm kind of a mess today. Have I ever drank paint water? No. I always drink out of glasses, like glass. And that prevents me from, if I pick up plastic, it feels wrong. So. Yeah, that looks about right. We're mixing up a bunch of colors in preparation for what we're about to do. So I just took some white and blue, and it is, this has been held for review. Oh, no, you can say that word. So 60-40 mix with white being the prominent, that gives you a kind of light blue. We're going to take just a smidgen of that, and we're going to do that plus the green we did. I would say like 5 to 10% green, and then the rest of it being that white blue that we just mixed. And that should get you a fairly saturated green. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe you can see it there. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to be putting that kind of right along the horizon line here. And if yours doesn't look exactly like mine, I was speaking to someone yesterday who said, you know what? It's okay. I think we need to be okay with that. Also, I should have gotten a haircut before doing this. Also, everything's just going wrong, which is great. It's my favorite. And that should be about like that, yeah? If you need to, go and mix up a little bit more. I'm having to pretty much every other stroke. I'm used to much smaller canvases, so it ends up being a little bit more of an issue. So it's a sort of bluish gray, yeah. I would say blue, gray, teal, somewhere in that range. All right. We're going to take a little bit of that teal that we made before, the 60-40 blend of white and blue. We're going to take that, we're going to put that right on top of it. And some of it's going to mix. And that's kind of the trick to this painting, is we're going to do a lot of wet on wet. So wet on wet is, this part of the canvas is still wet. We're going to just paint right on top of it, and it's going to mix colors, and it's going to get to colors that we know we want, but we don't really know what that color specifically is. It's one of the cheats about painting, you know. Lichfit was saying that they were afraid of painting because of color mixing, but you can do wet on wet in order to skip out on having to figure out how to do specific colors. Because I don't know where this color is. When it starts mixing together like that, I don't know how to get that percentage. And I'm not going to even tell you, because I don't know. I'm going to mix up some more of that teal, the white, blue. 60-40 mix. whole bunch of that going. There we go. And you want to make sure you dry off your brush every time you wash it off as well, because it's going to be wet, and wet paint works different. Okay, so back and forth. This is why I chose to do a big canvas, because it's A, easier for you guys to see, and B, because we want to be doing these big movements. It's good for the painting. It's good for you as an artist as well to start by knowing to do this. Keeps you from having a lot of injuries later on, so on and so forth. And we're going to be using a lot of this blue. Blue is pretty prevalent. The raw umber is actually not too prevalent in this one, but it is needed later on. So right at the horizon line, there's that green, and it mixes up to this blue that we've got. And it's okay to go down and then back up to go ahead and mix in the colors. Is it bad if I'm using crayons? No. Honestly, like, whatever works for you, man. It depends on what art classes you take. I highly recommend that if you go to college to not just take the style of art that you want to do, but also things that you don't want to do. I took a sculpture class. I hate it. I hate sculpture. But you know what? I took a class in it, and I learned that actually, I still hate it. But it's good for me. Because now I've realized that, and I won't try and do it again. And I know what it's like to be a sculptor, to do pottery, to do woodwork, and I know it's not my speed. Movie has automatically stopped recording. Card full. Great! Why is that? We have not been painting that long. Give me a moment. Fighting with technology is going to be part of this stream. Alright, why is the card full? Ah, that's why. I did some painting yesterday, and it's all set to the wrong thing. Like, it's all got the other painting in it, so the card's full already. Alright, there we go. Fixed it. We're back to recording. This is what it's actually like to paint and do an Artcade. It's constantly fiddling with the camera, hoping the paint doesn't dry by the time you're done. Anyway, we're gonna fill up this entire area with this blue, this sky blue that we got going on. Spoilers, it's the sky. So there's going to be a lot of blue up here. And this part of the sky is a little bit darker. And hopefully, if we're going fast enough, if we got enough paint going, if we're loading up our brushes nice and thick, then we should be hitting that cobalt blue that we put down earlier. And it should be... nah, it looks like it's dry now. acrylic dries really fast, which is difficult for newer artists. I find it to be more forgiving, because if you mess up, you can just paint over it. Like, let's say I didn't want this blue anymore, I could just paint over it, it's gone. You know, that was like less than 10 minutes ago that went down. And we're already painting over it. We're gonna come back with some blue, but we're gonna go up to the line there. Right around there. Cool. This is how you paint a sky. Cool. I chose the wrong colors, so you'll end up getting a cloudy sky. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You can work it out. Alright. Just gonna get some, just pure, straight from the tube, cobalt blue. We're gonna come in over here again. We're gonna paint it on. And that's gonna start mixing with the sky blue that we've made. And we're gonna work that back and forth, so that way the blue gets a little bit in here. Because the sky is not perfect. It's not gonna be like a perfect shade of one blue or another. We're gonna mix that in with the rest of the stuff here. So now we've got a little bit of a sky going, right? This is why I love painting, because wet on wet painting is so fun. It's so good. It's so easy. Once you know the trick, that if you get that color going like that, it's super easy. And that looks like a sky now. So we're going to now do the exact opposite thing on the opposite side, right? So we're going to take white, right? And we're going to put it up in this corner. I'm probably getting all sorts of paint in my Coke and my water. Don't do that. It's bad for you. And this gets you a really nice sky that doesn't feel artificial. Because it's all muddy, and we're going to work in some of that white so that way it doesn't look quite as extreme. We're going to probably add in a little bit more white. I think it needs it. Because that's a little bit too close to the original. It's not recommended that you drink paint. It's bad for you. Get a little bit more white. You're going to load it up pretty intense this time. And just do the same thing again. There we go. That's a bit better. That's a bit better, isn't it? Alright. Cool. Good? You should eat. Yeah, it's good for you. Alright, so we got a dark blue over here. We got a light blue over here. With the camera the way it's set up, the light from my light is kind of making that look a little bit lighter or more neutral across this, all the way across. And so it doesn't really work, you know? I don't think you guys are seeing the pure colors the way I am. So what we're going to do now is we're going to stop messing with the sky. There's more work that needs to be done on it. There's more stuff that we need to do, but I don't think we can really do it just now. Okay? Clean off our brush. I'm extremely wasteful and use Kleenex. I have this... So I went to Rooster Teeth's convention last year, and I picked up this scarf from one of their shows. I tried watching it. It's on YouTube. It's called Camp Camp. You can't even see it through all the paint now, but it's good rag, but it's not very absorbent. Alright, well, it's clean enough. Alright. Actually, real quick, while that paint's still wet, why don't we take a little bit of white, and we're gonna just go over, like, right above the blue line, like in between the blue line and this, like, teal that we made, you know? Just draw like a straight line there. And then you're going to muddy it up a bit so it gets mixed in. So this area right here is not quite as certain. The sky is pretty far away from us. It's one thing it's known for. And so it's got... If you wonder why the sky is blue, it's because... And I'm going to turn off the camera so that way I can explain things. The sky is blue because of the hydrogen, right? I think that's right. Not entirely sure. Not a scientist. I have an art degree. But the hydrogen molecules actually have a blue tint. Something to do with atmosphere. Anyway, it's called atmospheric perspective is what we're doing here right now. So by adding... Where was it going? So the farther away it is, the more blue is in between us. I'm not doing a good job of this, and I really don't know what I'm talking about. I'm nervous, so I'm trying to fill. It's nitrogen. There you go. It's how it reflects light. It's something to do... Yeah, it's like... something like that. Scientists. Scientists in chat, help me out. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to go over a little bit of this because the canvas is showing through. The problem with using cheaper paint is it is thinner, which is nice because you can use it as glaze, but it's also a good thing to just cover a canvas with. And then you go in with the more expensive paint. We're using cheap paint today. Because I'm kind of cheap, and if you guys hate this, then you didn't spend a few $100s on paint, which is nice. Okay. I'll probably have to clean that up some more later. What would I recommend cheap paint-wise? It's on the supplies list, but the Liquitex brand is pretty good. I prefer, I think, Golden at this point for, like, expensive paint. But, Liquitex does have the heavy body paint, which is really nice. And I've used that in the past as well. The sky is blue because of light diffusion. Blue gets through because the other ones get scattered out. There you go, that's it. That's why things look blue farther away. Yeah, I've got a clear image in mind when I'm painting. I try and set up stuff in advance, especially for this, because, geez, I'd be way too nervous to do this just raw. So, we're going to stop touching the sky. The sky needs some time to dry, and luckily we got this other half of the painting to do, which gives us plenty of time. It's the blue that gets scattered. Okay, I really should stop talking like I know science. Okay, so, remember that green we made before? We're going to use a lot more of it now. We're going to just, like, randomly put little spots of it, like, there, and, like, right here, over here. You don't have to be too exact. I chose a subject matter that doesn't allow us to be exact, so if yours looks different, you're fine. And we're just going to kind of mix that in. And yeah, there's going to be parts where it's not very, green. It's, like, not super green here. Let's just have these 3 spots. It looks good, you know? I think I'm going to get a little bit of the, raw umber out. Mix it in with a little bit. Maybe just like a tad, tiny dot of it. Just a smidgen. And I'm just going to put that raw onto the canvas. Here and here and here again. The original painting I was going to do for this involved a lot more raw umber than this one does. This one barely uses it. But we're going to use it because I wanted to point out that the color black does not exist. And that sounds like insanity, but trust me, it's true. So, Cool. Now we got this green over here. We got some brown going on. Now we got to add some blue. So we're going to get kind of around this color up here, this greenish blue that we had. We're going to try and get that going again. So I'll make some more blue and white. The 60-40 white blue that we did before. Maybe a bit more blue. Maybe let's flip that. Let's make it 60 blue, 40 white. See how that looks. Mix that together. It's still pretty dark. Actually, it's pretty light. Yeah, that looks good. We're gonna have to bring in some more green, but we're just gonna add that so that way it kind of mixes in with the colors that we were just using, right? We're gonna try and get it more saturated out there, but we'll worry about that in a minute. Whole arm movements here. None of the just wrist stuff that I'm doing. Do as I say, not as I do. Get some blue going. Everyone's freaking out. They weren't expecting that. Blue? What are you doing, Rev? That's not what's supposed to happen. We should probably get some more green into this blue. And the reason I'm not telling you what we're painting is A, to defend myself in case if it doesn't look like it, and B, if you don't know what you're doing, you're just gonna follow it pretty close to what we're doing. You gotta trust that things aren't actually the colors you think they are. You know? There's green in places you wouldn't expect there to be green. There's blue in places you wouldn't expect there to be blue. You know? If you actually comb over an entire image with like an eyedropper tool, you'll see some crazy stuff going on. Nice and easy. This is up here still wet, right? Yeah. Accidentally took a little bit off with me. There we go. We'll clean that up in a minute. So more wet on wet painting, and that gets us some really cool teals and blues and greens and browns and all sorts of weird colors that we don't know how to mix. And we don't have to learn how to mix them. It's not important. Unless if you're doing Impressionists, where they actually go and try and figure out the colors in advance, you don't actually have to know what color you're going with here. This is such a good song, isn't it? That was the first one. I set it up so we'd have 2 hours worth of songs. A couple of these are a little bit longer than others. And try not to be too hard on yourself. I know a lot of artists are pretty hard on themselves. I know it's supposed to be like the thing, that we're supposed to be depressed and all these other things. Nah, not doing that. Don't feel it. We're not doing that. We're not making ourselves sad and depressed just that way we can have good art. You're going to feel bad about your art as is every now and then. Let's not add to it. I'm going to add a little bit more green because I feel like we've gotten away from the green that we had. So I'm going to add it down here. We need a little bit more green. This one's nice because it's got water sounds. Isn't that pretty? I don't know, I feel like if you have a calm track, you gotta have water or like vinyl. Adding some more green down here, just in general. Closer to us, closer to the bottom, I'm gonna do it as a lot of green. Did those 4-panel books ever help me as a kid? No, I used them, and I thought I was just being bad at art, but they're, excuse me, They're just not very good at teaching you how to do art. Okay. We're getting like kind of a weird... What are you drawing? I just came here. Painting. We're just painting. I think I'm gonna put a splash like cobalt blue over here, because it's gonna mix in. Pretty nice. We're gonna put it close to where we had those dark greens. Not on top of, but like in the general vicinity of. And we're gonna be getting closer and closer to that horizon line as well. As we do so, we're gonna have to start getting it more saturated. So saturation, for those of you that aren't aware, is more gray. When you get a color straight out of the tube, that's called prismatic. That's the most that color it can be. And the more saturated it gets, the less that color it is, and the more it is like halfway between it and its complementary color. So if you mix red and green, you get really gross gray. And we're kind of doing that up here. Maybe get a little bit of blue, a little bit of brown. Yeah, there we go. So I'm making a black. How much time did the egg painting take me? About 2 hours. About as long as we're doing here. Alright, so I've mixed the blue and the brown together. With paint, it's different than light. Light and paint are very different. So we're going to be taking some, I'd say it's like a maybe 60-40 mix again, where brown is the 40. We're going to be putting that right along the line here. Right up against that horizon line. Right on top of that blue line that we did before. A little bit approaching what we had right before that. We're going to be touching up a lot of this later on. So if you don't get it perfect, it's cool. I like how that egg video, despite it being like the dumbest thing, like I made it as a joke. It's like the most viewed video on this channel. It's like, alright, whatever. The point is that we're trying to get kind of a bluish, dark tone. Or color, I should say. I swear this will all make sense in a minute. I swear it. It's a sort of stormy gray that we've made. Having to mix more paint than I'm used to. With a smaller canvas, you don't need as much paint, obviously. And if you're used to painting smaller stuff, you don't, I don't know. I'm not mixing enough of whatever color I need, so I'm having to constantly mix more. Also, I didn't get a haircut, can you tell? I needed to. I said all week, I need to get a haircut, and then I didn't. So now we got, is this also on Twitch? Unfortunately, it's got to be one or the other with Twitch. And I've decided that today we're just going to do it on this channel. Can you see the back of my head? And the weird mullet I have growing now? Because I didn't get a haircut? You wouldn't have noticed had I not pointed it out. But now you're noticing it. And we're going to mix that color down into the colors below it. It's going to be a little bit imperfect. A lot of this painting needs to be imperfect for it to be perfect. Got that nice dark blue. That's the combination of the cobalt and the raw umber in the back here. Imperfect is realistic. People feel that. They see it. Oh yeah, I forgot to trim up my beard a bit. Normally I like to spend a little bit of time every day trimming up my beard. It's little things like that that really make you feel good. Like, just no music, not talking, not listening to anything, not really thinking about anything, just fully, like, Zen mode, trimming up my beard. So that way it looks nice. Paint with your beard? I think my beard hairs are probably too coarse for this painting. Maybe something in the future. Okay. So we got that stormy gray in the background there. And it's starting... There we go. Okay. I'm gonna add a little bit more because it's a little bit thin. Where I'd not like it to be. This is the problem with using cheaper paint. It's cheap. Alright. Work that down into the rest of the painting. Oops. Oh well. And we get a nice dark horizon line, but a nice soft blue going to a green. So we got a gradient of that dark blue coming to the kind of green down here, and we're going back and forth. We're going to add a little bit more blue in between. Again, it's going to be that white and blue 60-40 mix. We might have too much wet paint here. I think that's what's going on. So we got too much wet paint and it's not sticking because I'm just rubbing off other paint every time I try and add more. Yeah, I feel like that's what's happening right now. Alright. That means we're overworking it, which is a new mistake. But realizing it is what makes you good at art. Okay, cool. So we got this color. I'm going to stop touching the bottom half now because at this point it needs a little bit, it needs to be drier. It's too wet right now. We can't touch it. So is this still wet? Yep. Okay. Turn off the camera. Save us some battery power there. We're just going to wait for a sec. In the meantime, do you guys have any questions while we wait for our paint to dry? We're literally just filming us watch paint dry. Also, don't do this. Don't just leave your paintbrush in the water like that. Oil paint's is gonna screw you over here. You, EWO. Because oil paint will take you a couple days to actually dry. How's Momo? She's good. She had a bath last night because she'll do this thing. She'll have a really awful poop and then she'll run out of the bathroom full speed and just speed it everywhere. And that's awful. I figure the competition on YouTube's not too strong, to be honest. And so we had to go wash her. And she's gained a little bit of weight. It's hard to tell. I only have one cat. How many jobs do you have? Well, I do this, and then I stream video games, and then I've got a day job. So, we're classifying it down to as simple as possible. 3. More cooking tutorials will come soon. I have a sponsorship deal that I want to work in. This is something I did, so you guys don't have to fix it, but there's a little bit of green that I added there on accident. Just fix it up, because I noticed it on the camera. Let's see. Do you ever want to get a career in art? I'm hoping that this channel will allow me to do that. Let's see. What was the hardest habit for me to break? There's so many. There's so many little things that you do starting out. I notice there's no paint under there. There's so many little habits that you start doing when you do art, and it's stuff like not using your full arm, not knowing how to mix colors, not knowing your color theory well enough. Stuff like that is super bad for you. It's hard to pick out one thing. I think once I took a traditional drawing class and I had a teacher who really cared about me, really cared about my progress, things went really well, and I became drastically better. I do want to do a video at some point showing, like, year by year, as best as I can guess, how old I was of my progression as an artist, and you'll see that jump. And then there was another jump once I started taking my first art class, or my first painting class in university. One of your videos you mentioned you really enjoyed wood graving. Is there a reason you haven't done it as much? Wood graving, engraving I love doing. It's a lot of fun, but it's also a, it's a bit of a hassle. Because you have to have the roller and stuff. I'm better with pencil than I am brushes. So the difference between pencil and brushes is the difference between the inner and outer edge of objects. So when you're drawing the outside edge. And when you're doing painting, you're doing the inside edge of things. When you know that that's the difference, you should be able to convert very easily between pencil and brushes. But I feel like everyone starts with pencil because all the cheap tools are pencil, or like line-based, and so it's just easier to do it that way. But there's nothing wrong at being better at one style art than another. How can I get myself to draw what I see? You gotta just break it down. Like, you really have to break it down into its each individual elements, and that will be the thing that does it. Self-morale really increases when you watch someone you want to see succeed. Well, thank you. I hope that means me. I do, actually. I did try printmaking. That's what we were talking about. I can actually drag one of those over real quick. One sec. This is a print block, since we're talking about it. This is a print block that I did of Papa Emeritus from Ghost BC. You see the album in the back there. It's actually signed by the third Papa Emeritus. And then on the back you can see the signatures of the rest of the band. They use little markers, like they have little stamps for each of them. So, those were the ones that were there. It's good. But I like wood engraving, but it's super, you have to have a lot of space, and you gotta have a lot of other stuff going on. Like, you gotta have, oh, and I gave them all prints from that wood block. Papa Emeritus himself seemed very thankful. I feel like this is a little bit too dark. It's the other thing about stopping for a minute. But I like doing woodblock stuff. It's just it takes a lot of, you need to have the roller, you need to have the paint, and the paint's expensive, and yeah, usually what I'd do is I'd Photoshop something together. Let me see if I can find that real quick on my website. Give me half a sec. And I'll bring it up so you guys can actually see what that looks like. It's one of the last ones on there. Or one of the first ones on there, I should say. You just won't notice it unless if you go down to the very bottom. You gotta be the wood block. No, it's, let's see. It's all the way down here at the bottom. Oh, wow. I never noticed it did that. That's super weird, and I kind of don't like it. Okay. Shout out to my website. ColinMullen.com. Anyway. So, I ended up using... If you go to ColinMullen.com, it's right near the bottom of the prints page. Zoop. Can't really get it out of the way. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's what it comes out as. And so what I do is this one actually I took a woodblock print that they did back in the medieval ages sometime. I forget when. And then I switched out the guy's face, added in the details that made it Papa Emeritus, and it's actually printed on a Bible page to make it especially metal. So the details of his outfit... Oh, I'm sorry, I must be way close to my mic. The details of his outfit are actually some page from the Bible. I think I chose mostly Revelations. It was, I believe it was a suicide cut. It must have been. So in woodblock, you have to do the individual layers. For the sake of this one, I ended up cutting out stuff after I got done with the color. So the first color, I believe, was white, then green, then black? I think that's right. I think so. Anyway, that's that one. And then I did this one for Death Clock, which was the only one that everyone in my art school really enjoyed and got. It's from a song called Go Forth and Die. It's great. You should go listen to it. It's about graduating college. Let's see if this guy's dry enough yet. Still a little bit tacky up here. Also, you should probably be wearing clothes that you don't care about rather than nice clothes like I'm wearing today. Alright, well, I think we're going to go and roll with it. Even though we probably shouldn't. So, one weird thing about this game that we're painting from is that, or naked, yeah, I guess you could. One thing that's really weird about this game is the way they did the layering for the skybox. I mean, half this painting is skybox when you think about it. So they have a layer for the background, then they have a layer for the, like, moon, and then they have a layer for the clouds. But there's also a cloud layer behind the moon, so there's, like, clouds behind the moon. It's really weird. So they did some weird stuff with this one. I feel like we might need to go in and do a little bit of this again. This corner is okay on mine. Maybe different on yours. We're going to do a little bit of touch up here. So I feel like the paint's a little thin. So I'm going to just take the exact same colors that we did the first time. The cobalt blue, the 60-40 mix, and then this green. And we're just going to go over it again. What game are we painting from? It's a secret. I hate the way the raw sienna smells. We're not using it today. It's part of the reason. But I hate the way it smells. Random thing. But I noticed that different paints have different smells. You should be in a well-ventilated room. Okay. So, add... that's a little bit too white, not enough blue. So add a little bit more blue in there. You have to excuse me. Get that color right. There we go. said 60-40, and that's close. We can make it work. We've got another blue that's a little bit... Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to get that going up here. That's way too white. What is happening? Awful things are happening. I forgot to turn on the camera. That's what's happening. Turn on that camera again. Suddenly there's a color that came out of nowhere. So far hasn't bugged anyone. A couple of times I forgot to turn on the camera. Add this blue back in. And just a tad. I feel like we went too blue in this corner, so I'm going to just add a tiny, tiny bit of blue in that corner there. Wet on wet again. Is that a little bit better? I feel like it might be. I'm going to add a little bit more white. Is this a face cam? Hello. It is. That's going to look really weird on Artcade when I actually chop this up later on. Assuming that we don't lose the footage somehow. Which seems like a possibility at this point. A possibility. Adding the white. Paint's still wet, so it blends seamlessly. And just go ahead and make it look natural by blending it back and forth. There we go. We're getting some nice muddy colors. Mud is usually bad, but we're going to work with it today. And we're going to work with it because I feel like it's one of the first mistakes that painters make, is the mud factor. Getting, like, mixing too much of the same color and color and color and color until they don't actually see it anymore. And they get the wrong color going. I'm going to get this green again. So I'd like to go up to this line again. This line looks shaky on my end. I don't know how it looks for you. So 60-40. Or just put a whole wad of it on my hand. I love the things that, like, the YouTube chat censor is censoring. We'll be adding the clouds in a minute here. But, you know, clouds, they're a different thing entirely. They're weird. Clouds are super weird, and I've got a trick on how I paint clouds. It's actually super easy. People think clouds are hard. They're not. You just gotta know the secret. A lot of painting is knowing the secret. That looks wrong. Oh, jeez. Stop me. This is wrong. Why am I doing it? Stop me. Okay. I don't know why I do that sometimes. I just keep doing something that's wrong, especially in art. There we go. That's better. Well, let's see. Peachstream's thing just got hidden for the last word in the sentence. Okay. Get that green. That seafoam green that we had going right up against the skyline there. And this is part of the problem with doing these. Is that I'm too tempted to just keep going. Which is a noob mistake, but it's because I'm nervous. I want to, like, quickly move on to the next part so we don't spend too much time looking at it. But unfortunately, this one's pretty straightforward. So, I'm going to run into a little bit of that. We'll just be covering up that blue horizon line we did originally. Because that blue needs to exist, so we knew where that was. But we're getting rid of it now, because that blue horizon time is done. It is over. My friendship with Blue Horizon Line has ended. Okay. That looks a little bit better. Now muddy green horizon is my friend. It's true. Alright, where is not wet? The entire canvas is wet again, isn't it? Is this dry? You dry? No, you're still tacky. That's okay. Me and Blue Horizon were so cute together. So I didn't want to talk about how our relationship was going when it was going on at the time, but it was not a good thing. Me and Blue Horizon line. We weren't having a good time. I'm gonna add a little bit of that sky blue here, just to kind of vary things up. Because I don't want things to remain so, I don't know. It's bad. It's actually what it is. You need to get more of that green going. I'm just being lazy and not wanting to mix green, and I'm hoping the blue comes out as green some magical way. But I actually need to mix more blue. I mean green. So, 60-40 mix. Green, blue. Blue being the 60. Not doing a good job at helping the people who are using MS Paint. I'm very sorry about that. I'm going to mix a new color, and it's going to be a combination of this blue here with the green, 50-50. And it should come up with basically that color. I don't know if you can see it. Well, there's a little bit of the original blue in there. I'm being a little bit messy. That's okay. I'm just trying to cover up all this canvas that's showing through. So one of the first things you gotta do, we're just working on this base coat. A lot of this base coat's gonna show through on this one. I'm doing just kind of sweepy motions. I guess that's something I should be talking about. We're doing this a bit on this half. Not huge, but just, you know, I'm over-exaggerating it a bit, but I like this line here, so I'm going to keep working with it. I'm going to get the blue again. I feel like using MS Paint should be doable, but I'm not really doing a good job explaining how. Let's get more cobalt blue over there. Because I want some blue in here. It's gotten too green down below the horizon line. And again, cobalt blue directly into that color we just mixed. And that gets us a nice color over here. Try not to be too pronounced with those sweepies. Touch a little bit of green over here again, because I feel like we've wandered away from that green there. Can't even tell that we had a green there at some point. Mix that guy in. There you are. There it is. Get the blue back. A lot of me painting, to be honest, is retracing my steps until it looks right. And a better artist wouldn't have to do that. They would just come in here and they'd slap stuff down real fast. And I'm adding blue now. What am I drinking? I am drinking an HEB Original Cola. The cheapo stuff. Because it's 75 cents at the store, and that's about $1 cheaper than buying an actual Coke. And it tastes the same, and it's about as bad for me. So just kind of adding random bits of cobalt blue in here. Trying to diversify this so that way it's not quite so homogeneous. We're trying to make it so that way there's some striations going this way. Line, line, line. That kind of thing. Not super extreme. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing that steps away from the way the game actually does it. And it's because of tiling and stuff like that, that if you view it at a long distance, the tiling looks wrong. In the game, you don't notice it too much, but if you're painting it, it looks awkward to paint that way. And we're not doing that. We're doing it our way. We don't have to be perfect. Well, thank you, Nick. Sorry if this seems a little bit different than what I normally stream and how I normally stream. Try and be a little bit more excited, more upbeat when I'm streaming video games. But this is us just kind of chilling. It's good that I got back into art and doing art as much as I have. I'm glad I've started this channel on a personal note, because it's kind of giving me a little bit of chill in my day that was not happening. I feel like I've been a little bit more, I don't know, happier. Are you keeping the archive and chat replay? I have no idea what you mean. I don't know if it shows up or not. I'm going to be moving some of that black, I'm going to call it, the brown and blue that we made earlier. I'm going to move a little bit of that down here. None of these colors are going to hang out by themselves. Everyone hangs out together. We're all going to hang out. We're going to have a good time. Be nice and chill. Doing our own thing, but, you know, coming together, making something pretty. That's how the colors are acting. That's what they're doing today. They're going to be friends. They're coming together. It's like my best Bob Ross impersonation there. Or we're like anthropomorphizing colors. Is that how you pronounce that? Anthropomorphizing? Ugh. We're gonna just let that fade away like that. Okay, cool. Well, thank you, Kill. Very kind of you. Alright, so we have this situation going on. I want to do this over here because looking at it actually on OBS's cam, I'm realizing how dark this area is. So we're just going to just paint over it a bit. What do you guys think? Does that look blue? Is this like blue and black and da-da-da-da-da? Yeah. This is related to the gaming, or the channel milestone for sure. It's because it helps. It helps the channel out quite a bit to stream on here. And it's a nice way of thanking everyone that subbed. Get something for it. That maybe the people who subbed on Twitch don't see, or the people who are on Twitch exclusively, they're missing out on some extra content that they could be getting. It's blue. Okay. I'm gonna add a little bit more, because I think that brown we did a little bit before is a little too extreme. I think this is on to the next song now. It sounds different. Ooh, that was almost bad. See that? Almost put my brush in my drinking water. And then I would have poisoned myself. That wouldn't have been fun. It's not super bad for you. Like, you won't die from it. But, that was almost bad. Okay. I bought this extra brush just for doing this. Never ended up using it. Are you going to review and look at other people's art that they did during this? Yeah, regardless if you're painting along with this or you're just doing your own thing. we're gonna just go and tweet at me, and I'll look over your art. Don't die. I'm trying not to. Doing my best not to die. That looks good. I feel like that looks good. Looks better on the DSLR than it does on the other camera. I'm gonna turn off the DSLR real quick. We're gonna check and see how this is going. We dry. Okay, that's wet. That's dry. Yes, the horrific sea monsters and feeling isolated is sort of implied. If you're not aware, we're doing Subnautica at this point. I feel like it was spoiled as soon as I started adding blue below the horizon line. There's not a lot of games that have blue below the horizon line. Specifically, we're looking from where I've set up my base in my stream of it, and we're looking towards Scotland. How much longer do you think I'm going to stream? Well, we've just gotten done with the base coat, I feel like. So we got another hour or so? Give or take? It's probably about an hour. We'll do a bit of a Q&A. I'm going to look over the people who tweet at me, their art. That seems like a nice thing to do. And we'll talk about, you know, the good parts of it and what we can do. Are we going to paint the Aurora? No, we're just painting the sky. I don't want to paint any real hard edge stuff, because I want people to be able to just quickly follow along and not have to worry about that. Should we tweet now? Let's, yeah. Yeah, go ahead and tweet at me. I'll bring that up. We'll check it out. I'll check out the tweets. Okay. Let's see what we got going on. YouTube. Alright, let's see what we got. We got 2 messages from... Alright, that's not related. Alright, so we got some, let me see if I can bring it up again. We got some stuff from, Lichpit, who's been doing it digitally. She's a very talented digital artist who hangs around streams in the Vine Sauce community. So this is sort of, I think this is when we were putting the green and the brown in. And then we move forward. We're starting to get those blues in. We're getting this dark blue in the background here. And then we're starting to add random blues in here. Start getting there. Gotta stop attempting this in MS Paint, but following along with RevScarecrow's art stream is really awesome. Highly recommend you check it out live on YouTube right now. Well, thank you. Just use at Rev_Scarecrow. Then we got this one from KS. I don't know how to pronounce your thing there, but yeah, we're getting the right colors going. I feel like you got the white up in the corner. Are you using what tool are you using? Is this looks too well blended? I'm a little too close to the mic. I keep forgetting that. I've cranked the volume on my mic, and so I'm too close to the mic. I'm very sorry about that. I cranked it so that way when I'm looking away. This is good. You got the blur going on, so I'm betting that this is not MS Paint. You got too many other colors happening in the stuff, but it's looking good. I feel like we got a good base layer. If you're doing digitally, you may want to use multiple actual layers. Excuse me. I like the nice calm music, and then I'm burping directly into the mic. Alright. Coral Painter Essentials. Using the Bob Ross brushes. Yeah, that's looking good. I'm liking this. You missed a spot up here. It's okay, I did too. Mine is closer to there. I like the brushes. They're nice. They look very authentic. I like it. It says, working along with RevScarecrow's art stream and Coral Painter Essentials using Bob Ross brushes. I think I already read that. Cool. We got this one from Ibis or Dolix using Ibis Paint X. Again, very similar. You got I like this right here. You got the green happening, and it's starting to have swoopies. Ibis seems to be a good program for this. Let's go ahead and turn off Steam Friends, because some people have really weird images for their icons, and that's great. Let me scroll down and check out a couple that I missed. We got this one from Alejandro Va. Rev, what do you think? We're sideways because of the way the camera was taken, but I think that's right. Yeah, I think this is coming along. This is looking really good. Maybe a little bit too dark through here, but I feel like that's what I ended up saying, was putting too much dark here. So no, don't worry about it. Cameras are weird. We got this one from Automatic Maniac, and I know he went out and actually bought the exact same paint and canvas that I used. This is hard. It's very hard. I think you need to get a little bit more blue in here. In this strip here, depending on how the colors are being tinted. But that looks right. And then same with here. I think we just, generally speaking, need to get more blue going. I think we need to do it on mine as well. But that allowed me to kind of notice some stuff about mine. And then you're having the same issue I'm having, where the paint's kind of peeling away. So we're going to have to like hold off on doing the bottom half for just a minute. But the sky looks amazing, man. You're getting there. And it's the base layer as well. So if it doesn't look perfect, it's okay. You're going to be painting several times over it, so you'll be okay. We got this one from Paradox24, painting along with Rev in a program called Krita Wet Brushes. I like this color right here. This is perfect. This color right here is perfect. And I like the sketchiness of the brush strokes. They're nice. Secret browser in the corner there. Secret Bowser? I guess so. Wait, did we? Oh, there is a secret Bowser. You got a little amiibo Bowser over there. And then we got this from Natalie. And I can tell on this one that the lighting is a little weird just from like where the picture was taken. But it's looking good. I'm liking this. And you said you're using a like 8x10, right? That's why the grain is so much more pronounced. Krita is good. I'm liking this. And this is all going to look slightly more yellow because of the color of her lamp here. So this is probably actually the right color green. And we're probably just not seeing it right because of the way the camera took the picture. But I think that it's right. We got this one of someone using, what is the name here? I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm very sorry. It's German, I think. And you're using crayons. It's going to be harder to get the colors in the right way here. But I like what you got going on here, man. It's good. This is looking good as well. That other guy, Artcade in process, first time using Coral Painter Essentials. It's coming along. And I'm liking this. This is a good swoopy. I don't think we looked at Ghosty Winds either. I tried my best. You know what? I think it's coming along nicely. You got to bring this green down here. If we can flatten this out just slightly, I think you can do that by bringing the green down as well. Otherwise, I think you're pretty on point. This area is perfect. This area is perfect. It's like right in the center where it's starting to be a little bit off. And I think that's why you're being really hard on yourself. The blending is really nice. And so if you bring it down just a bit, if you bring more sky, less water, I think you'll start liking it. I think you'll start liking it a lot more because you're actually really good up here, really good over here, and really good down here. It's just right in the center, and you're looking straight at the center. And I think that's your issue there. Let's look at a couple more, and then we'll go ahead and stop and get back to it. So this is what I have. This is from IMJ8CHI. And that's looking good, too. I feel like I told y'all to put too much dark blue here. Or like green. because I'm noticing this in everyone's, and I feel like that's me misinstructing. But I like the gym tones through here. It's very pretty, very good. This one, the colors are slightly blown out, I feel like, because of the garage you're in. I feel like the garage lighting is giving you a slightly different color. But if we kind of like think about it, like that's probably white up there, right, on the wall. So everything is probably a little bit less teal than it actually looks. And also I think the picture may have been mirrored, because you got the dark blue up there and the white over there. But as far as like what you have going on, I like your brush strokes. You got this going on. And then color placement, and as far as like how the colors are mixing, looks really good. I think you're actually closer with the watercolors there than I am on the swoopies. The swoopies look good. Alright. Are things dry? Let's do a couple more since they're here. Alright. Well, I think that's enough looking at other people's art, actually, because it looks like everyone's done showing me what they got so far. But I think everyone's on the right track. Little things that I would change here and there, but nothing major, you know? I feel like, who was that was in the garage there? I think you're right. This is too green. It's a little bit too dark. And I'd like to take that back a bit. I want to, on mine, fix that. But it looks like, on mine, it's still a little wet. Alright, so I think we're going to take care of the sky real quick. Yeah. Okay. So, I said that it's super easy to do clouds. I'm going to show you how to do a planet first, but the theory is the same. So, brush, white paint, pure white paint, straight out of the tube, right? Actually, is this wet up here? That's wet up there. Damn it. We can't do it. We gotta wait. Or at least on mine we have to wait. I'm just gonna fix that real quick. It's my fingerprints on it. Later, Fox. God, I wish this would dry faster. I feel like it dries faster when I'm by myself, but I also like sometimes just take like an hour break to like just go play video games. Like I'll play a round or two of Day of Defeat or, you know, Squad or something. Come back to it, maybe some Hearthstone. But that's too wet for us to add the planet. This area is fine. We can touch this now, but I don't want to, because the way the layering is going to happen here. So, what can we do? Take that blue and that gray. Just straighten out that line a bit. Forgot to start the camera again. It's just on mine that I want to straighten that line out. Okay. I guess let's keep touching up the bottom, because it's still kind of wettish on mine anyway. We can probably touch that and it not be a huge deal. Up here, that's super wet up there, because I had to retouch that. You can use a hairdryer. I'm not a huge fan of hairdryers. I just hate them. Or the air in my place is super... Oh, it's been raining a lot. That's probably it, man. It is super humid here. Garage guy probably has things... Art hack just set it on fire. Yeah, it would dry a lot faster. Alright, so I'm gonna fix that there. I'm just gonna keep touching up spots down below for a minute. We kind of looked over people's stuff. I feel like if I said, oh, you know, if you could change this a little bit, you'd be on track. Go ahead and do that now, unless if it's on the top half. Let's try and clean up the bottom half. Let's try and clean up this area real quick. So if you have any issues with yours, having issues that you want to fix, now's the time to do it, because we're kind of waiting for the top half to dry. Guess I could play a round or two of like something, but don't know. Feels weird to do that on an art stream, to be playing video games. I'm gonna add more swoopies, because mine does not have the efficient level of swoopies. Forgot to turn the camera on. Add a swoopy right here. Bam. Swoopies. They're happening. And I use the Michaels brand canvases. Forgot what they're called. Artist Loft, I think. And I feel like the way they stretch their canvases, right on the edge where the wood is, there's a little bit of an issue where paint doesn't want to go. And that's not an issue on other canvases as far as I've seen. So I think that's just something special, some special level of weird that they've got going on. That's a pretty color. I like that color. Can I add it somewhere? Yeah, I can kind of add it here. It's not super weird. I do need to clean it up a bit. Can I add a little bit of green? Like right here. That's nice. I'm trying to verbalize what I'm thinking while I'm saying it, and I sound like a just idiot. Swoopies are metal. In metal, we call them sweeps. It's a thing that new guitarists learn pretty quick. Just learn your sweeps. Then you can have a nice metal solo that everyone loves. So when I'm adding stuff in here, I've added a little bit of a white blue here, and I'm just coming back in with the cobalt there. And I'm kind of doing like an imperfect jaggy. Like I'm not trying to like perfectly set up the line. Like totally fill it over. And so that's giving me the crest of the wave a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense. That's what's happening. And again, you don't have to be perfect with this, because nature's kind of weird. It's got some weird stuff going on. I don't know, the more you learn about nature, the crazier it is. So if it's not totally on point, it's a wave. You know kind of what waves look like, but not really. I don't. I've only been to the ocean once. Went to the Gulf of Mexico. Super pretty. I don't know, like, if you've been. Went to Port Aransas. Gorgeous. Gorgeous stuff. And I think if this is the... I think we're going to have the stuff going on like this. We're going to be doing lots of swoopies this way. So I'm adding more blue there. We're doing swoopies back and forth. And I feel like I want to break this crest right here. So I'm doing my swoopies, but I'm kind of like mixing them in so it's not like super obvious where one swoopy begins, and so on and so forth. I feel like I'm just rambling now. I don't even know if this is good. Are you guys actually enjoying this? Because I cannot tell for the life of me. I mean, lots of people are sticking around, so I guess it's good. It's a good sign. Just add a little bit of white there, then come back in with some blue. Yes, you're fine. Okay, good. I'm enjoying it even though I'm not painting along. Well, cool. How many people watch the Artcade channel but don't do art? Like, would not consider themselves artists or whatever. So peaceful. Cool. Hoping for more of these in the future. I'll probably do a couple more. I'm feeling more confident today than I usually am. I've done art streams in the past, but they went awful. I think I just did something and didn't explain it. So what I did was I added some white, and then I just sort of pulled it down into the blue I've got. And that gives us the crest of the wave, right? Because the waves are all foamy and stuff like that. And because we got a teal going, the white mixes with the teal, and then we get like a really weird, like, color going on, you know? Ends up being pretty. So right here, that swoopy that I really exemplified before, I'm gonna take like bits of it that I like I like that angle there, I like that angle there. I like this bit here. Alright, I'm gonna dry off the brush. And I'm gonna just bring that white down. If you're doing this on actual paint, you'll notice that it starts blending and you get a really hard edge from the white. So I've got a dry brush that I'm bringing the wet paint down with, you know? I feel like practice is, I don't know. Practice is important in art, but also like you need to do it in such a way that it doesn't feel like practice. When you're practicing, that's like work. No one wants to go to work. I just want to have a good time. I don't want to practice, right? So you just got to do things you enjoy. Don't like, I don't know. Practice the fundamentals. That's what they always tell you to do. But like, and I'm destroying part of that wave there because I feel like it's too like uniform. There we go. That's a little bit better. This is a little bit too clean, too hard. So we're gonna just add a little bit more white and then bring it back down again. Why can't you put YouTube in theater mode like you can on Twitch? There's a lot of problems with YouTube and streaming. I'm beginning to learn the specifics as this stream goes on. And I think I'll probably do all the Artcade streams on here regardless. Kind of hard to explain why, aside from it helps out. I bring some of that white over here as well. Because the edge of the wave is not perfect. It's going to be a little bit shaky. Waves are pretty uniform in a way. Kinda, sorta. But like not super uniform. Like if you actually look on Subnautica, they're super uniform. Because it's just tiled, you know? It's the same bit tiled over and over again. So I'm adding some blue again. We're mixing in kind of random bits and different pieces of colors that I like from the blues that we've made. And I'm just sort of adding them in. We're gonna add darker colors on the back of the waves. So like straight cobalt right next to that blue or that white. And I'm just gonna mix that in. And it's gonna fade away. And because we've got all that green underneath, you'll notice that it looks seafoamy. And I feel like it looks pretty dang good on the camera there. One Artcade stream per month? Possibly. We'll see how it goes. And because we were doing those swoopies, there's some natural waves that have happened, you know? So I see like right here, you may not be able to see it. I don't know what the resolution's like on your end, but I see one right here that I want to exemplify. I want it to be a little bit more, I don't know. You'll notice like brush strokes that you made before when you were putting down the waves because you were doing the swoopies, hopefully. And you can kind of just pick ones that you like. Nice pretty ones. And then line them with the white. And then you're just going to bring them down, dry off your brush, and then just bring that white down. Art is learning about some of the cheats that you can do. And then again, I'm putting some blue on the back side of the wave. And I'm going to break this wave up a bit because I feel like it's a little too uniform again. Use your best judgment. Kind of try and sit back and look at it every now and then. Because sometimes you'll just do it to do it. Add a little bit more white, like right along this. And I feel like there needs to be like, yeah, we're going to be doing that. So I'm going to take a little bit of white, and I'm actually going to pick at this right here. We're going to have a bit of a swoopy in of itself happening there. Just as a line. And we're going to do another one over here. And it's going against the way that the waves are, you know? So the waves are going like this way, right? Well, there's going to be some random highlights, you know? So we're going to add that in as we see it. Right? It's looking good, right? I've only seen the ocean once, and it was mind-blowing to me. Like, I've always lived in like the hill country and like the flat areas of Texas, and it's just, you don't see water. We have Lake Travis here in Austin. It's not a lake, it's just the fat part of the river. Like, and it's like not that impressive, really. Like, in comparison to the ocean. I need to get a little bit more cobalt going. It's a completely different beast. Oh, that's way too much. I think I might get some of this blue-green from this area. I'm going to bring it in over here. A lot like poetry, there's bits in paintings that rhyme. And you'll see them repeated. And you need to kind of bring that in at random spots, you know? In order for it to really look right. If the colors aren't repeated too much, then it doesn't look right, but also you don't want it to look too homogeneous, you know? You need it to look kind of varied, like things are just sort of happening, you know? Especially when it's realism, you know? I'm gonna do that wave thing with this bit here as well. I'm gonna just add a little bit more white because I don't feel like there's enough. And because the paint runs out, the farther away you drag the brush, you're gonna get some gradients again. It's a lot about gradients in this painting. A lot about color mixing, wet on wet, dry on dry, so on and so forth. I feel like this looks a little bit too formulaic at this point, because there's that one, and there's that one, and there's that one. So we need to break this up more on my end anyway, because it looks okay, but it doesn't look quite right, right? Like this edge is too, I don't know, I feel like it's too exact. So I'm going to destroy it a bit. And you may see that a little bit on yours as well, where it just looks a little bit too, I don't know, redundant. Well, I'm glad you feel like I'm teaching these people better than your art teacher is. A lot of it has to do with, like, the art teacher. I'll say it. I feel like you should definitely ask on maybe day 1 or 2 to see your art teacher's portfolio. That'll save you a lot of time, because if it ends up looking like, if their art is not good, then don't trust them. But if their art is amazing, then you'll be like, man, this person, they know what they're doing. I'm just now realizing that whole rhyming bit that I said earlier sounds super pretentious. That's okay. So, because our underpainting was so green and we're adding so much blue on top of it, you end up getting kind of oceany, you know? I'm gonna add some random highlights and random bits that look a little bit different, like over there, because I don't want it to look super perfect. I feel like this looks a little too perfect. I think that's the culprit here. I think that one's okay, but this one following it up, I feel like is, So I'm gonna get a little bit of blue, a little bit of green, a little bit more blue. Maybe like a 30, say 30-70 mix with blue being the major part. That's gonna give us, please teach art. I guess I'm trying to right now, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. We're gonna mix it on top of the white. I'm just doing this that way it doesn't look so, I don't know. Again, homogeneous. It doesn't look so basic. And I can go ahead and paint along with the edge there. I feel like that was a mistake. Oh well. Add some white to it. Balance it out a bit. It was a little bit too strong. Went a little overboard. It was not an intentional pun, but it happened. Is that looking right? When do we put the skull in? Well, you'll want to put the skull like right here, raising out of the water. No, I think we're gonna skip the skulls this time. Put like a tiny, pop, pop, right there, little crest. And he's not super pronounced, so we don't need all of them to be. Some of these crests we can kind of get away with not really explaining or really showing off too much, but he's a nice one. I'm gonna take some of his paint over here. I'm gonna maybe drag that out a bit more. How does that look? Looks good. Does that look like water? I feel like that's looking alright. That's a little weird right there. I'm gonna try and fix that up. You're gonna have bits on yours that look a little weird as well. And I'm not gonna be able to tell you right now where those are. But just use your own intuition. And if you need to, maybe step back from it, walk away. That's something you need to get good at as an artist. Like, you'll want to just, like, keep moving into it, keep doing more and more and more and more. But, sometimes it's best to just, like, chill. Because it's not as bad as you think. I don't think any artwork just suddenly becomes bad. But I think your mindset towards it becomes really, really bad after a while. If you're anything like me. And, that can hurt your painting. Because if you suddenly start feeling like everything is wrong, I feel like that space between the horizon and the waves looks really empty. Like right here, that black line there. Yeah, I feel like we need to do a little bit. I think you're right. So I'm going to mix a little bit of this. I'm going to just put some notes of it along the edge. Now the thing is, with perspective, things that are farther away from you are tinier. So we can't do huge sweeping waves in the background. Oop, what happened there? Are you out of battery or out of space? Card is full. Okay. I guess we're taking a quick pit stop for me to go ahead and transfer some painting stuff over. I think I'm going to finish off what I just started there. That's a little bit weird. The earth is like bending right there. Let's go and fix that. You know how I was just saying sometimes you overwork stuff? I feel like I'm doing that right now. I feel like art is never like super outside of where it needs to be. It's usually just a couple of strokes that you need to change. But sometimes when you get super wrapped up into it, you can't see it anymore. Because you've gotten too attached to certain stuff. You've gotten too into little tiny details, and you're not really like looking at the big picture. So that's one of the, I don't know, just being able to pick apart an image is one thing, but also being able to like step back and just go, I'm gonna let this chill. Feels pretty legit. Okay. You guys go ahead and catch up if you need to. If you need to stop and let some stuff like let stuff dry or whatever, go ahead. I need to transfer some files over apparently from my DSLR so I can do an arcade from this video later on. So you're gonna hear a doo-doo. Lovely little waves going on. I feel like this area needs some love. Like right there, I'm not a fan of that spot. This spot's alright. I feel like this area needs to happen over here some too. Are you showing art afterwards? Yeah, I feel like that's a good idea. A lot of Artcade, I gotta say, is me literally just trying to figure out what you guys want and do that while still doing what I want to do. And there's a lot of stuff like that I would have never thought. Alright, so let's go with sub and just transfer these files over. $14 gigs. Do I have enough space to do this? Also, is it going to totally freak my computer out if I'm streaming and transferring files over? We'll see. I don't know. This is part of the artistic process for me on this channel. I also probably should get over myself a little bit. Arcade is scary for me in a lot of ways. I feel like I mentioned it at the beginning of the stream, but I didn't really go into depth. But I guess I've got to wait 12 minutes to It did not like that at all. Does not seem to like... Oh, okay, so one of the footage, or one of the things got back, and when it came back, it... Like, once it fully got put in the folder, then it cut the thing. So we're gonna have 5 hiccups. That was the first of 5, if my theory there is right. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to go get myself some more water. So I'm just gonna leave this going. Actually, let's put it on a BRB. There you go. Hey, did you guys know about my art channel? Alright, I'll be right back. Give me like 2 minutes. Can we send photos meanwhile? Yeah, go for it, man. I'll be right back. All right, I am back, and I need to remember to stay away from the mic when I say that. I need to put the camera back in the right spot. Give me 1 sec. Let's see how that looks. Is it pointing in the right spot? It's a little bit off. Whoop. That's about right, right? Maybe there. Okay. Anyway, let's look at the art that you guys have sent in. I feel like the angle's off again. Ah. Boop, boop. I think that's right there. Cool. I knew that there was a little bit of the chat on the side there, so we're gonna pull up the Twitch or Twitter stuff again. Okay. Let's start from the bottom, and work our way back up. See how it's going. Okay, so I know I saw that one, and then listening to Rev talk about art during his talk about his art and watching him paint as well is really soothing and fun. Please continue doing more art streams. Thank you, B. Give us mullet cam. I need to like not have a mullet. It's like one of the worst. Alright, so Natalie's having some trouble with the waves, so let's try and help her out here. Let's try and do something, try and see what we can say and do in order to help. I'm stalling, so that way I have a second to get the camera up. There we go. Okay, cool. So what's going on? What's going on with Natalie's waves here? One of the things in art school that is really helpful is where everyone works together to answer the question rather than just answering it or having me answer. So it looks like you had your swoopies and you were trying to bring the paint down with the white. It's that latent lust for ASMR that's bringing me closer to the mic. It is. So I feel like right here, can you see my mouse on y'all's screen? For whatever reason you can't. There we go. Okay. Now can you see my mouse? You can't. There it is. Okay. So right here, this looks good. This area right here looks good to me. And I think it's because you went a little bit lighter with the white. Also, again, the lighting is going to be causing us some problems. So I think Nattykins has it right. I think Natalie's waves look too just perfect and straight. Especially this one. This one's the main culprit here. So what I think you can do to fix that is I want you to bring some of this blue over here and kind of break it in over here-ish. Maybe down here, up here, somewhere. Break that line so it's not totally perfect. Because when it looks super perfect, it doesn't look natural. And we're trying to go for natural waves, and I think that's your issue right there. I like that way of describing it, Ray. I think that's the issue. Also, the white seems to be, you're going kind of down and to the left, like that, rather than more like that. I don't know if that description is helping any, but it's more up and down rather than left and right. And I feel like this one is good. There's a stop here. I think you have another start there. I feel like you're in the right direction with a lot of this. I think it's the up and down thing. I like these though, because you're getting the left and right going on this one. And then you also could add in the darker side of the wave, doing the exact opposite. And I think that'll get you some of those colors right. Yeah, I think you're on the right track though, Nat. I know you don't feel like you are, but I think you are. All right. Let's go to the next one up. Oh, cool. Alejandro, you got the camera situated right. Okay, so cool. Kind of a similar issue, I think. very uniform through here. This one I feel like is the better. Like this area right here I love. You know? If you get the darker side of the wave, and a little bit of the darker side on this side, I think you'll be doing really good. I think you're more on track than you think you are. We got this one. Waves are tough, and there's a lot of subtleties. You've got a very hard edge here. In that area, the paper actually broke. Okay, well, that's going to cause problems. And part of the reason that it's important to critique other people's work, and hopefully not be mean about it, is that you might see something that they're doing that's really cool that you can do in yours, or something that they're doing wrong that you're also doing wrong, and then you can kind of fix it, you know? It allows you to examine someone else's, and then when you come back to yours, you're thinking about still critiquing it, and you're like, oh, crap. I was telling him that, you know, he needed to do this, but I need to do that on mine too, you know? So I think the issue with yours is you're not breaking it up enough, and this edge is super hard. And with digital, you're going to have a lot of hard edges. This is good. If you can get somewhere between this area and this area in hardness, I think you'll be good. But yeah, I think what Luigi said there, the low waves, looks super cool. We've got this one. Oh, I like that you... Oh, there you go. This is super helpful. I don't know as if... I'm actually going to... I feel like I should retweet it just so that way people can go and grab these colors. Is there much more to do? I feel like the bottom half on mine is 90% done. The sky is about 70 to 60% done. So we're close, but not quite yet. I'm going to reblog or retweet this one just so that way you guys can get that color palette. Because this color palette these are the colors you want. So your problem, Paradox, is totally not the colors. These are a little bit too, like, perfect. You need to, like, get some of this dark blue going in. Break this up a bit. Get some greens and stuff going on. This area needs a little bit more blue. But I feel like you've got the right colors. Like, you picked the colors out right. And you did a better job explaining those colors than I did. And I'm kind of neglecting the digital people here, which is not the best, and I'm very sorry about that. Let's look at Luigi's here. I think there's a little bit too much white, maybe? And maybe that's going on with mine too. We need to bring back a little bit of that green and a little bit of that blue in here. And then maybe take out a couple of these hills. No, actually, that looks pretty good. They look a little bit more like mountains right now. And it's because it's got that snowy white going on. I think if you get more blues and more greens going in, it'll look less like a mountain and more like a wave. I don't know enough about the ocean. Maybe someone who has seen the ocean more in their life will be able to attest. But I know, at least as far as Subnautica is concerned, the waves are kind of even and flat, and I feel like I'm going a little bit hard edge on mine as well. So I think, again, this is super helpful for me seeing Luigi's, because it's like, okay, that's something I need to do as well. And then I feel like Maniac is having the same thing, but dude, I love your brushwork. I feel like you're actually getting in there and doing like full arm movements probably. The aesthetic is super nice. But it's starting to flatten out. You need to start bringing this stuff from like a focal point that's over there and drag it out to there. So imagine a line going from there out to whatever corner, and you'll start seeing some lines that are some cool stuff. But I'm liking this, man. I'm liking this. Let's see what else is going on. I want to go back. Oh! Look at this dude, Garage Dude again. Who is Garage Dude? Ooh, a butt. Garage Dude, I'm loving this. Yep. Don't throw a stone unless if you're pure yourself. So, yep, no, nothing to say there. You're doing great. You're doing awesome. That looks great. I feel like you're getting the colors down better than perhaps I am right now. So, I'm not going to say anything about that one. You're doing good. That other guy? I feel like this is mostly a problem with doing the digital. I think the digital is really holding you back right now. You need to get the green. Oh, that's probably the digital though. God, I need to figure out how to do digital stuff a little bit better because I feel like I'm not helping out the digital people enough. So I guess I'm seeing a fairly consistent issue on a lot of people's, and I feel like it's something that I need to explain because I haven't yet. Let me do that real quick. So let's pop back over to mine real quick. So I'm doing something and I haven't explained it. So you have like your horizon line, right? And then way off in the distance is where you're actually looking, right? If we look, a lot of these, if I like line it up, it's gonna look different on your end. But if I line it up, you'll notice that they all kinda, sorta, well, not really. I'm full of crap. They all kind of follow a little bit of a pattern. This one's off, but that one, maybe that's my issue. They're all kind of aiming towards the same line. And I guess the idea is that the water is going to be pushed by the moon and the air and stuff the same way. And so it's going to have like a fairly common thing, but it's not going down like this because the waves aren't like, we're not rising up above it. It needs to have a little bit of a sideways angle on this one. And I feel like the issues that I keep seeing is in most people's that we're looking at is that I didn't explain that. Because if you look at the last couple of digital artists, like this guy here, you'll see that's kind of we're floating above it a bit. Wish I could put my hand over it, but this is, I don't know how to explain that. Am I explaining that right? We have a little bit of that going on here, but not as much. Like it's too parallel with us. We're too perpendicular with it. That's it. And I think that's something that Luigi has not going on. Like he's not doing that because they're all kind of like at this angle to us. We're not perfectly straight on with them. Para is having that issue. I feel like Dulox is he's figured it out. I don't know if he knows he's figured it out, but it's working for him. And then Natalie, I think it's me not having explained that. That was the issue there. So just try and like maybe shift the angle of the waves a little bit to the side. I think that was me not explaining something well, and I'm sorry for that, guys. We've got this one from I'm German, bro. Sorry. Thanks for the Artcade stream. I can't read that because it's kind of dark, but it's of me, the birthday boy, eating a cupcake. I'm gonna need to learn a little bit about how to be a teacher because I don't know what I'm doing. But this is looking good. I'm liking it. Let's see what else we got going on. And then there's Luigi thanking someone for something. 1.2K boy. Done with a 4H pencil. Well, thank you. Yeah, I feel like I didn't explain something. Because if everyone's having the same issue, because I see it in like most everyone. I think, yeah, he was Luigi guy was thinking mother father there. All right, this is an issue with something that, oh wow, it took me a while to catch up. I'm using a DOS program called VGA Paint. I love the aesthetic. It's super low res. I have no idea how you've taken this picture. But I love that you're doing it in that program. It's really cool actually. And it looks very impressionist instead. It's super cool. I like it. Take my laugh as me enjoying that you've gone outside the box. It's amazing. All right. So let's hop back into it. So I'm trying to, like, I guess I should say this. So I'm trying to keep the waves like not dead on with us, where they're like bam, bam, but where they're more like zoop, zoop. There's more of a zoop, zoop instead of a bam, bam. I'm great at explaining things. I hope that was words. I hope that was words that made sense. You need more zoop zoops and less bam bams. Where are we on the transfer of that? Okay, looks like everything's transferred over, so I can actually yeah, more zoop, less bam. And it's also, I think, because you guys are viewing my painting at an angle, and I'm painting at an angle. It's lots of little weird issues that I didn't even think to mention, but it's there, and it's because I didn't mention it. Okay. All right. No. All right. Let me plug the card back in. We actually get started back into it. Sorry for the intermission for my camera to load up the stuff. Normally I just like stop for the day once that happens, but I've got about 2 hours worth of battery. Now the problem with the DSLR I've got is that the battery only lasts for 2 hours, and I only have one battery. So if I want to charge it, I have to take it off the stand it's on. Okay. So how are we doing? Is this wet? I'm going to turn off the camera actually real quick and actually kind of figure out what I need to do on mine. Okay, so now we've looked at everyone else's, we can see that we've got straight on with the camera is really difficult in my workspace, and I'll try and take a picture of my workspace once we're done here. But if you watch the art tour or art studio tour I did, you'll see that like this is a tiny corner. My tax man said to send him the dimensions of it, but it's pretty small. I feel like I need to have a hint of a wave there. And I feel like, is this okay? I think there might need to be a hint there. No. Maybe tone down through there. But that's too uniform if I did that. I feel like I've got too much uniformity in some of this. This wave might need to go. And this wave might need to be a thing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll take a little bit of white. We're going to get back into it. So I'm going to go along with this edge that I've made prior. My brush is getting super jacked up from the waves and doing the dry brush thing, but it kind of just happens. We'll go over some brush care once we're done here, which obviously is, again, you had to put it through. Well, we'll check out the art again in a minute. So if I didn't look at your work, just do your best to try and follow along with what we learned from everyone else. And you'll actually be happy to know that a majority, maybe you'll hate to know this, But a majority of the rest of what we're doing is very similar to what we're doing with the waves here. Maybe just like a weird wave that's just here. I don't know. See how that looks. How does that look? Looks a little bit too white, too perfect. We need to... Yeah, that guy right there. That guy's weird. He's doing his own thing. He's off on his own mission. Hanging out. Having a good time. Doing something weird. I'm going to take this guy out, though. Call some people from the deep web. Have them taken out. Goodbye, friend. Now I've made it ultra sad, and the sad music doesn't help at all. Add a little bit of blue. And this will give you guys some time to kind of do whatever you need to be doing to fix the waves that you had. And the nice thing about waves is you guys can paint a totally different wave from me and it still look right. And that's kind of why I chose to do this. The original thing that I was going to have us paint was much darker, and I realized that the camera was not going to be able to pick out some of the subtleties. So I had to, like, last minute kind of change up what we were doing. And that definitely didn't give me any anxiety or anything. Kinda... Oop, that was too much. You go away. I feel like that made it a little bit more placid, made it a little bit more chill. And I'm gonna bring a little bit more white through there. I'm just gonna have like a sneaky little wave over here. He's not gonna be big. He's not gonna be like one of these big rolling ones like the rest of these guys. He's just getting started. He's just getting going. So he's not got a lot going on with him. I'm giving them personalities now. I think I understand why Bob Ross did that now. Because I'm trying to fill dead air. I know I've got piano music, but I feel like I should be explaining something. And I feel like with him just saying, just add a little friend over here. Like, makes it a little bit more lighthearted. We don't get all, like, uptight. We're letting ourselves relax a bit. If you're not doing art for money, you can relax. If your art doesn't look great, it doesn't matter. You know? If you're doing it for money, then it's not calm at all. And it's scary. But if you're doing it just for the fun of it, just to kind of wind down at the end of a day, it doesn't have to be super intense. The woman that I was teaching originally, about a year ago today, roundabout. Oh, it's Wisps of Whorls, which means we're running low on time. It was the last song on the loop. It's okay, we'll just loop the music again if it happens. This is a nice song. It's super calm. But anyway, she would get really uptight and really scared and really, like, finicky about stuff. It just wasn't doing her any good. So I'd have her back away every now and then. I feel like that's a lesson that I need to teach, but today is not the day to do it. Because I had an art teacher that taught me one of the most important lessons I ever taught was learnt. Is that really English, Rev? Was ever taught. And I don't feel like that you guys are ready to learn that lesson. It's super important, but I think it would probably send some of you into panic attacks. So let's maybe not do that today. You know? Let's have just a good time with it. I can explain it to you if you'd like. she had us draw for 2 hours, right? It was one of my first art teachers. 2-hour lesson, right? And at the end of it, she said, okay, this drawing is, she was telling this throughout the entire thing. She's like, this drawing is 30% of your grade. So everyone was like, oh, jeez. I gotta do perfect. Gotta make every line count, because this is 30% of my grade, right? And this friend needs to go away. He's a little bit too perfect. So I would say in the last like 10 minutes or so. So we've been going on for about 2 hours now. So imagine like 30% of your grade depending on this painting, right? So at the end of that 2 hours, she goes, okay, to finish this drawing, you have to destroy it. If you do not destroy your painting or your drawing, then you fail this assignment. Straight up. Like, I have to see you tear it up in front of me. No pictures of it with your phone. You gotta destroy it right in front of me. And that was difficult, but it's a super important lesson to learn. We'll do it some other time. But when you learn that not everything has to be like perfect, that sometimes you gotta just like let it go and make mistakes, you allow yourself a lot more leeway, and you actually become a better artist. Because if you're not doing it perfect, if there's some weird bits, I'll tell you what, you'll be more comfortable in your mistakes, and you'll be more okay with it. So maybe not this time. Maybe not this time we destroy our art. Maybe some other time. But it is a good lesson to learn, and I feel like all of y'all should learn from that experience. Ooh, I like that. Something just sneaky happened. Something sneaky happened, and I'm gonna go with it. Well, what's up? A rogue wave? That's what's up. Make sure to break my phone after I'm done drawing it. I think you'll probably be okay. Plus, it seems a little bit hypocritical for me to go, okay, now you guys got to destroy it. And I've got, like, film evidence of the whole thing of mine, so I can, like, totally still sell it or whatever. It seems a little jacked up. Yeah. Look at that. Look at this friendship that's happening right there. You see that? Because this is imperfect like that, this wave is going into that wave because things are happening that they're weird. That situation right there, this situation right here. Bam. Bam. But yeah, not being a perfectionist, I'd say, is one of the most important things you can learn to do as an artist. And we're about to run out of battery, so that's going to be fun. Wish I had another battery for this. Alright. Friendship situation happening straight in the middle of the canvas. Alright, so we're going to do a couple more things, and then we'll be done. I've turned off the camera, so that way we don't have that issue. I've got paint on the inside of my palm. Cool. Alright, so we need to do a couple things. We need to add... There's a huge, huge moon right here, right? And then there's some cloud situations going on, like, everywhere, right? So, in the same sort of way that we did the waves, now that this is dry, and hopefully you used a big canvas, so this should be relatively dry for you, we're going to put in a moon here, okay? That's no moon. And in the same way that we did the wave, we're going to use pure white just on the tip of the brush, like so. Yeah? And we're just going to trace out a circle right there. Not a full circle, but just like right there. I think you'll like it. Let me turn the camera back on so I can film it. Okay, so. It's going to be a little bit hard now. Your brush is a little bit shaky from having been destroyed with waves and stuff. That's okay. We're going to not do the moon down here. We're going to do it up here, though. We're just doing the edge of the moon right now. Just like drawing. And maybe you won't do whatever I just did weird with my wrist there. It'll look good. Okay. This moon situation is happening. It's got some like random craggy bits and stuff. And we're just gonna like sweep that in. Got a little excess paint on my brush there. It's got a little craggy and the light's reflecting off of it and it looks nice. We're gonna have a little bit over here as well. If you're like me, you might need to reload your brush and kind of add a little bit more white in and then drag it away. This little guy is happening. And it's not really a perfect circle that I've drawn here. Maybe it'll do a little bit better. Well, part of it is running into this thing over here. I'm going to see if I can cheat it out. We'll hear the camera turn off here in a second. All right, clean that off and then just sort of drag these situations in. I don't feel like that's happening quite the way I want it. The thing is that there's a lot of stuff that you'd expect. Like, you'd expect to see this side of the moon, but you can't. Because the light's not hitting it that way. And the sky it's still day. You know, it's daytime. So you can't quite see it. But this moon is huge because it's super close. And it's doing some weird... I don't know why the waves act the way they do in this universe, but it seems like this would cause some sort of situation with the waves. We're not painting that today, but it seems like it would do something. Again, not a scientist, so I don't know what that situation is, but I'm going to take a little bit of 60-40 white-blue sky. We're going to bring that in and kind of like... Oh, that didn't work at all. Gotta get some more blue. I'm rushing myself now because I'm running out of film. There we go. I'm going to clean up that line because this isn't quite the way I want it. That's okay. That's looking pretty good right there. And then we got to get a little bit over here as well. Yeah, that looks a little bit too perfect. What do you guys think? Moons don't look quite as spherical as that. They don't have like quite that like, I don't know. It needs a little bit of a thing over here. What's my opinion of sea shanties? I like them well enough. I'm gonna add some like random little like pockets and divots because the moon's got holes. I don't know if you know about that, but it's got all these like craters and stuff like that. We need to do that a little bit over here as well. So again, we're just using white, but we're not loading it up super, like, thick, you know? And by doing that... we can kind of lie. A lot of art is just lying about what's happening. Tricking the eye. Because this isn't actually a planet. This doesn't actually exist. But a person who looks at it, they know. And it's not through actually drawing an apple or a planet just perfectly. It's through drawing it the way it's supposed to be, which is a little bit imperfect and a little bit weird. We're just going to have little like craters and stuff going on. And again, dry off the brush, spread that around, and it'll look right in the end. It's pretty dang near close to what I'd want it to look like. Not quite, but close. I'll have a little bit more white down here. And then it just sort of stops existing over there. And you'll be happy to hear the clouds are exactly the same way. Let me add a little bit more white to my palette. So, what's a cloud look like? Just a little bit of a soft edge there, right? A little bit of a situation there where the light hits it, right? Alright, good night, Rumple. We got that situation going on there. Got this going on here. A little bit of just the highlights where when you see the light, it would hit it on the, because clouds are just, it's water, right? And so it's shiny up there. And then again, dry off your brush as best as you can. And then just already starting to look like a cloud. Yeah? Clouds are super easy when you know how to cheat, aren't they? We're gonna add another cloud up here. He's just hanging out. He's a little bit smaller, but he's a little bit more compact. Again. Dried off brush, just bringing down the paint we already put down. Bringing them over. I still got a little bit of paint left, right? So I'm just gonna go over here. Maybe dry off, add a little bit, then dry it off. Seems wasteful, but we're doing things. Add a cloud here. No extra paint on the thing, just a little bit of dry-ish brush. Add it in. Bam, cloud. And a couple more down here. There's a couple clouds like straight on the waterline, and it's because of the way that the game actually handles distance. In order to prevent you from seeing Scotland, the place where all the Scottish people live in this game. I call it Scotland. They just have clouds hanging super close to the waterline, which is weird, but it's just how the world works. So we're going to add that. And I'm rushing again because we're about to run out of footage. Which won't affect people watching live. But if I want to edit this later, I kind of don't want to use the 720p. And that's a little bit too intense. Maybe try and break it up a bit more. The music has stopped. I think. That song is so deep and so light. It's kind of its own thing. I want to show you guys my art, but I don't want to post it on Twitter. How do I show it to you? If you want to post it on the art borrow, the Vine Sauce borrow, that would work. Friend. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad it helped. But see how easy clouds are? I love them. They're so easy to cheat. Alright. So what can be done to fix this up more? Are we good? If anyone else has that issue where they don't want to post it on Twitter because of whatever reason, like they don't have Twitter or what have you, yeah, you can totally send me art that you've done that's not part of the stream. If you've been doing it during this stream, I'd consider it part of this stream. Go and send me some art. Are we done? I feel like that's pretty close to being done, don't you? Yeah, make sure you tag me in the Boru. But I feel like I'm pretty dang close to being done. If that's not done, I'm not seeing what's wrong with it. I'm gonna turn off the camera real quick and kind of look at it. I think it looks good. I think it looks good. Does that mean it's done? I think every painting needs to stop at some point. And I think there's a lot of stuff that I could do to this still to fix this. I feel like I put the moon too far down. It probably should have terminated closer to like this line instead. I like the clouds. I feel like the clouds look good. This felt like meditation or something like that. I think I want to switch up the music next time. But, I think it'll work in a pinch. I'm glad you guys had a good time. You know, as soon as I let myself chill and actually enjoy this, I felt like I had a good time too. That guy. If I'm going to change anything, it's going to be that guy. I think he's the weird one out, don't you? Maybe this dude as well. He needs to be over here. And this dude needs to be over here. I think I can fix that, though. And then I need to go over brush maintenance. I think it's all going to be kind of the same kind of stuff for the most part as far as genre, because a lot of royalty-free stuff when it comes to the stuff that I actually like listening to on a daily basis is it's not really good royalty-free. Like, royalty-free metal is pretty much the worst thing to listen to. And yet, it's what I'd want to, but I feel like this is probably better. We listened to, what was his name? Ace Waters stuff from the Undertale album that he did. And that was good. I kind of want to listen to relaxing piano music again, just to clean up the last little bit of this. This is relaxing piano music by Kevin MacLeod. Again, of course, all of these are Kevin MacLeod things. I want to fix this friend. By fix him, I mean get rid of him. I think this is probably my favorite track on this. Yeah, stock metal and punk and stuff like that is super awkward. So we're gonna kind of tone him. Oh, hold on. Gotta turn on the camera. If you ever see paint just suddenly appear in an Artcade, that happened. And then we just add in some white right on the tip of this. Bop, 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 bop. And then we bring that down. Then this guy needs to come over as well. And honestly, little movements like this can be huge. It's difficult, Peachtree. Drawing people is hard. At some point I do want to do one on people, if we do another one of these, but I need to get good at painting people first. The colors for people are actually really interesting. how to like get people to look right, you don't want to start with a flesh tone. You want to mix it yourself, because people, you know, people like to go, oh, this person is, you know, whatever ethnicity, so they look like this, and it's like, it's not quite as easy as that. People look different even within that, so it's not as easy as just, I don't know, this is the color you need. You gotta mix it yourself. Flesh tone doesn't work. It's like, I think why flesh tone clothing and stuff like that is not very good. It's because no one's flesh tone is actually that color. I'm an especially pale person, and it's slightly different for me. Not that I'm like going out and buying, I don't know, pantyhose or what have you, but saw a friend of mine mention it, and I was like, yep, that's right. Basically. I'm sure you have a little guy like the guy that we just fixed there on yours. See if you can find him real quick. And if you're confident that you found him, then go ahead and tweet at me with the pic. Show me what you got. Royalty-free metal. I don't think pantyhose would be a good look for me. Whoop. Bumped the cord a bit there. But, you know what? There's a lot more that I want to do with this, but I feel like I'm going to call it quits there. I guess we should sign it, shouldn't we? Is Bees McBees royalty free? I mean, it's mine, so I can do what I want with it. It's a really good painting? Well, thank you. I don't think it's the best one I've ever done. Some of this situation I want to fix. Like, I feel like this area is too dark. I'm gonna have to go fix it now that I've said it, because I see it. This is the nitpicky thing that destroys you. I would ask Vinny for his permission before I used his music, but I mean, I've literally got Redvox right there. This is what could go wrong. Just hanging out in the corner this entire stream. Alright. I'm going to take care of this situation here. Have a little bit less black going on over there. That's okay. For those of you that are feeling like, oh man, I hate this, like the whole thing's, just screw it, just throw the thing away. Like, if you're feeling like that, if this is your first time that you've painted, and it turned out like half decent, like be a little gentle on yourself. You know? And I need to do the same. I need to practice what I preach here. I need to be gentle on myself. This is an okay painting. I like it. I think it turned out good, and I think the clouds made it. You know? This situation was looking a little bit eh, but then the clouds came in and they were like, it's okay, I got this. I don't like to sign paintings until I'm done with them. Because I feel like once I've signed it, it's done. It's donezo for goodzo. But every now and then I'll do this. I'll paint something and I'll be like, this is the worst thing I've ever made. I'm going to destroy it in the morning. And then I'll wake up, I'll go and look at it in the morning. I'm like, man, it's actually pretty good. I actually really like that. And I'll hang it up in my apartment. I'll be like, yeah, I did that. Art's super weird, man. Alright. Go ahead and sign just down here. I am done. I'm calling it quits there. This is literally just the brush I use to sign things. Some people will say, oh, signing is so passé. I like to sign my work. If you like to as well, do it. Some artists don't. Some artists sign on like the edge or something. I'm not a fan of that. Alright. Turn off the camera. Putting the lens cap back on. Considering how nervous I was going into this, I feel like this turned out okay. So, let's see what you guys did. It's a point of contention, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Not everyone signs their art. I happen to be someone who does. Because I realize I live in a world where people are jerks and will steal art and stuff like that. So I'm gonna quickly pull up. I think switching over and looking at Twitter every now and then was a good way of giving us a minute to let paint dry. I think I'm gonna keep with that in the future. We'll see if I do another one of these sometime soon. Figure out how it goes. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down to the last one I recognize. So, Dude Mix Spooks, DOS painting. I love that. So that's cute. I need to back away from the mic. Sorry about that. All right, let's look. Someone applauding Natalie's. And we got this one from Bob Aside. I think you chose some different colors. I joke. I know it's not part of your stream, but I was wondering, what do you think about this drawing I made? I like it. It's hard to tell exactly how far off the water we are. Based on the scale that we got going on here, I feel like this is pretty big and pretty far away. The only thing I'd criticize, I think, is this. I double-checked these colors right here. But I really like the mood. I really like the colors. I'm a huge fan of red and yellow as of recent, hence why I've had so many red and yellow paintings recently. And so this is pretty cool. It's very stylized, very, this is my thinking fingers. You can actually see it. Sometimes I do this during stream. You guys can't see that. This is just me thinking. Anyway, it's very symbolic and less realistic, and I like it. I think it's good. Scroll down just a bit. Alright, so German friend says, I actually hit a little guy near the pier in my drawing. There's a little friend. And then we got this one from Natalie. And she says, for my first time painting this, I feel like I did okay. Obviously, things to improve on, but I did it and it's mine. You're right. It is yours and you did it. You did a good job. And honestly, for a lot of people, the first time they do art, it's super rough on them. And I think also because you decided to do a tiny canvas, that restricted you in a lot of ways. I think it looks like you use, now that I think of it, you probably use canvas board, right? Rather than canvas. So instead of linen being stretched over wood, you have just like a woody, plasticky kind of texture on a piece of wood. And paint spreads slightly different on this type of texture. I think you did good, Natalie. And I like that you decided to just go, you know what? I did good. I like your signature, by the way. It's good. We got this one from Para. Again, thank you for figuring out those colors, doing what I didn't. Finished the painting with all the colors I use. I don't like how the moon or clouds turned out, but the waves. So, the moon and the clouds didn't turn out right because the instructions I gave were very analog and not digital. And I feel like this way that I cheat to do clouds does not work digitally. And I think that was the issue there. Because I guess the way you would do it is you draw the line like I did, and then you use the blur tool instead to get that to happen. I really feel like I neglected the digital people out there, and I'm very sorry about that. I was kind of wrapped up in my own insanity and didn't give you guys enough assistance on what you needed, and that's something to keep in mind next time. But I still think it looks good. I think all the colors are there. I think you did a good job. I think blur is probably the trick there. I think that's how you emulate it. But I think you got the colors right. And transferring from analog colors to digital colors, you did good. You did very good. We've got Alejandro's. I've mispronounced your name every single time I've said it. Says, please help. Same issue from before that I was talking about, but this friend and this friend I like. If they were going more zoop rather than bam, I feel like you'd be a lot happier with it. This cloud is good. This cloud is good. This one, the way you were brushing, I think you might have been using a different paint as well. That might have been the other issue. I wouldn't beat yourself up too much, man. This is your first time doing art, and you got the colors right. And really what I wanted to worry about today was colors, learning about wet on wet painting, and brush strokes. And I figure if you get most of those done, then you did good. And so I think you did fine. Dude McSpooks, just shout out for doing something crazy with it. Despite all the hiccups and confusion with the software I used, I was able to finish it with something I'm really happy with. I like it. I like it. And sometimes you have hard days too, Alejandro. Beating yourself up about stuff isn't going to do you any good. Because if you go, well, now I believe I'm a bad artist because I had one bad painting or one painting you didn't like, then like you're not gonna let yourself improve. You're gonna work it into your head that you're not good, and then you're gonna believe that, and so not good artists do not good art. So all the art you do from there on out is not gonna be good. It's okay to make some mistakes. Not everything has to be a masterpiece. I hope everyone got that. Not just specifically talking about you here, by the way. Alright, let me scroll down a bit. So we got this guy. I like how your moon turned out. I like the colors you have going on. I like the swoops and the zoops. And there was zoopage action rather than bam bam action. I like it. I like the line here. I think you got that color better than I did. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy about the random yellows that are happening in the clouds. And then this like purple, this is cool. This is cool. I got some there's some good friends going on in like little random spots. There's some really beautiful stuff happening here. So good job, that guy. We got this one from God, I'm not going to be able to pronounce your name. Arcade stream was really good, Rev. Gave us a great time. Doing a lot of work on my own pen work after a halfway through point, though, instead of pure watercolor brushes. I think that saved this painting. I think every now and then, you're going to have to make decisions that you're like, nope, that's not right. I need to do something weird. And that saved this painting. Going off the rails and not just using the same brushes, going, you know what? I'm going to have a little bit of like ink pen instead. Super good stuff happening here, you know? And I feel like some of the best parts are where I can tell you switched over to that other brush. I think you did good. This is good, don't get me wrong. The zoops, or the swoops, I mean. This is a cool situation. But I like that you added the crests in with the harder edge. That's what I wanted to have happen, but there was no way for me to communicate how to do that digitally, and I feel like you did it right digitally. So good job. I'm sure you're seeing little bits that you want to pick apart, that you want to change, but I like it. The outline of the moon is super cool. I like your Scotland cloud as well. Let's look at Maniac. There are a lot of things that I would like to touch up, but I really like it. Thanks, Rev. Also, I accidentally made a face in the cloud. You did. There he is. That's alright. Alright, so what's going on with this one? So first off, it's casting a huge yellow light from the light you have. I think it's good. I think you're fine. You got some bam bams rather than some zoop zoops. If you get some bam bams going, or I mean zoop zoops rather than your bam bams, I think you'll fix that. I like your moon. Maybe come back in with a little bit of blue to be able to like soften up some of this, make that conversion from this edge here happen a little bit smoother. But that's good. It's very good. I don't know how many paintings you've done before, but this is a really good good try. You know, this turned out pretty good. The Bam Zoom situation. Actually, if you go to art school, you will have teachers that say weird stuff like that. I'm liking it though. I feel like everyone got the sky super good. Like this to this happened right. Whatever I did, however I explained this situation or this gradient, everyone got perfect. You did really good with that, and you got, I like your Scotland cloud as well. Let's go over to Luigi, guys. Still need to do some polish in the sky, but it was, given it was my first time with the program, still pretty good, given it, dyslexia happened here. Just want to point out, Lichpit liked it, but like not specifically that they liked it, but this thumbnail, like seeing it tinier, like a lot of the stuff really starts to come together. The clouds start to look a lot nicer, and I feel like that's good. I like your moon. I like your moon. I like your sky gradient here. I feel like this brown here is my fault. I like the stuff that you've got, and I like this green here. And I like your Scotland cloud, and I like your moon. I feel like your Scotland cloud, everyone's Scotland cloud turned out really good. This friend up here, he's cool. Whatever you did with him, that's how I would do these guys. Maybe a little bit more highlight here. I'm nitpicking just to find something to critique, but I really like your sky. Your sky is super good. And a little bit of green down here just to make it more sea and less mountainy. I think if you added a little bit maybe like a new layer and then just had like an overlay and added like some green randomly in here, I think you'll fix a lot of this situation. You're doing good though. Dulex, I like your boat. So what did you say? The lonely boat is a metaphor for the digital artist. Yep, I didn't do a great job helping out the digital artist here, and I'm sorry about that. Also, look at how hairy my arm is. That's gross. Anyway, I like your moon. The moon turned out good. I like your clouds. I like how it turns all powdery and puffy. It's good. I like it. I like your sky. Everyone's sky is really good. The gradients, the moons, the clouds. It's good. What else we got going on? Okay, cool. Then we got this one from Peach Tea Dreams. And it's of me painting. I wish I had a shirt like that. I want a shirt that's just straight up a skull. I look good. I look like a mess. But that's actually super accurate to how I look today. Can you see me? I look like a mess today. This is a really good drawing of me. And I think this is this a swoop or a zoop? This is more of a swoop, isn't it, that I'm painting here? I think you knocked it out of the park. If I'm gonna nitpick, oh, your camera's inverted. I forgot about that. Never mind. If I'm going to nitpick anything, it's going to be your camera doesn't do this justice. This turned out super nice. No real complaints aside from that, and that's not your painting ability. That's the quality of your camera. Because I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff that we can't see. You look like this dude that I awkwardly stared at for like 15 seconds at the gym today. Yeah, clouds look super good. It's good. Nothing to say on that one. Just a good painting. Good job. I feel like everyone did super well. Let me trick the Boru as well, because I feel like I need to. I think the Bam Bam was my issue. I'm not going to get over that. Miss me with that Bam shit. I feel like the Bam Bam situation was my issue. But I feel like everyone did super good today. And if this is your first time doing art, like across the board with people, you did great. 2 more. Another 2 from Bobslide. That's cool, man. What program are you using for this? Because I like the stippling or whatever. Like this situation with the cloud. Where it's all like chunky. I like that. I like that chunkiness on the hard edges here. I like it. Alright. Let me check the border real quick. Looks like we got 1 art that's from this. And it's from Whimsical Lifestyle. It looks like he used the spray paint tool. Actually, the smaller this image is... artist here, this is from Rev's art stream. He didn't include a rock, but I put one in there all hasty because rock. You know what? Little, like, deviations from it are what make things cool. The moon turned out super good in this. Did I like your doodle? I did. I'm very sorry. I don't feel like I appreciated it enough. It was a very good one. Thank you. This is cool. I feel like this one actually works better, smaller, because it comes more like impressionistic. Pixel art in general reminds me of like impressionism. I love this style. Your sky is super clean. Super clean. You got a bit of the Bam Bam instead of the Zoop Zoop. But I like it. I like it. The sky, everyone did super good on the sky. Like, everyone knocked that out of the park. Okay, that one was a bit ago. But I feel like you turned it around, Natalie. Alright. Well, I think that's where we're going to leave it today. Let me know if you liked this. I guess it got cut up just because when I was... transferring stuff over, it caused issues, but let me just... Hi. I can't see chat because it's behind me. Well, thank you guys for coming by. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know. Based on the fact that a bunch of people stuck around for it, I feel like we did. But we'll do more of these in the future once I find more stuff that I feel like we can do fairly... straightforward like this. I'll find something. The other stuff that I'm working on I don't feel like work as well for this, you know? So anyway, I'll probably be posting this one up on my website at some point. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for coming by. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I think I'll maybe leave this up. We'll see. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye!